Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. We are Seniors in Service of Tampa Bay. Our mission is to provide solutions to community challenges by engaging volunteers age 55 and older. I'm Robin Ingles. I'm the CEO of this organization. We've been around since 1984. We engage I have a staff of 16, and we engage over 600 volunteers. 250 of them commit to serve at least 15 hours per week. So very high commitment level from my volunteers. So what do? Here's what we do. We promote intergenerational volunteerism to help several different aspects of the community. So for children, many of you have probably heard the expression, before third grade, children learn to read. After third grade, they read to learn. So it's critical in literacy that we grab those kids before they get to third grade and help them learn to read. So I have a big group of volunteers who's focused on early literacy for children. So a big group of volunteers do that. They do in-class tutoring and mentoring at schools, again, at least 15 hours per week. We have an over 95% success rate in improving the literacy and or social emotional skills for those children. And that's judged by their classroom teacher who knows them, not us. So that is a huge intergenerational program that makes real differences. We are in the most challenged schools with the most challenged kids doing that work. And I won't speak for it, I'll let you read it. A student who once had no friends because of a language barrier began to speak more. A student who once struggled to identify letters could now read books. This volunteer is a living inspiration to us all. We also do senior companionship. Loneliness in elders eclipses obesity and even smoking as a predictor of early decline or death. As Nancy said, loneliness is a big deal. We are in a mental health crisis where loneliness is concerned, particularly for elders. So we have a big group of volunteers who goes and visits them in person, in their homes, and they commit to at least 15 hours per week of these visitations so that homebound elders, particularly those without resources, feel supported and connected in their community. My companion has been there for me over the last few years when I needed someone to talk to cry on a shoulder. She saved my life. You got a treasure with her, and now she is mine. We have Operation Veteran Connect, helping our veterans and military families. The VA has an integrated health program called Whole Health that they're trying to roll out across VAs nationwide, where they're not just looking at the veterans' medical needs, but they're looking at them as a whole person. They may need help with finances, employment, nutrition, exercise, skills training. The VA needs to help them in all these ways. We need to support our veterans in this way. And our volunteers, through the generous funding of Volunteer Florida and the AmeriCorps program, our volunteers help veterans navigate into this program to get the support that they need. I couldn't get out of bed. I would go days without getting dressed. This program brought me a sense of belonging again, a sense of someone understanding what I had been through. And also the veterans in that, the volunteers in that program are either veterans themselves or part of a military family, so they really get to know each other. Next program, we call this one Got an Hour, Give an Hour. These are dipping your toe in volunteerism. This is how we kind of hook people to get into it, to start giving them themselves, to become civically engaged. If we can just get them to show up one time, one day, we know that they'll love it and they'll see the benefits to themselves and in the work that they're doing. So lots of activities around food insecurity, teen mentoring, group recreation, and then partnering with other nonprofits. I'll talk about that some more in a minute. I may not know you by name, but I have met your heart. You were there when I needed you. I'm happy to tell you that I'm back on my own feet again, and this will be my last visit. That was someone coming to a food pantry and what our volunteers did to change their lives. A lot of people ask me, how do you guys get so much done? Anybody want to ask me that? Great question. going to tell you, but not yet. First, I want to tell you something about myself. I have an accounting degree. I was an accountant for a decade. I worked in professional sports. I worked in software development. I was the president of a 22-unit auto repair franchise. And then I own an advertising agency. I owned this advertising agency for years. During this time, I had a friend who would invite me to these breakfasts that were fundraising breakfasts, and she'd say, come have breakfast and hear about this really cool nonprofit. And, you should write a check. You should. And okay, so I would come to the breakfast and I would write a check and I'd say, wow, that's really great. And then I'd go on with my life. And then I decided to sell my advertising agency. And so I was wandering around in the wilderness trying to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. And this friend said to me, why don't you help this nonprofit with a marketing plan? Because you're a marketer and they need a better marketing plan. Okay, I can do that for a little bit. Don't you know, this nonprofit sucked me right in. So now I went from donor to volunteer to CEO of this nonprofit. So, thank you. Thank you, and I feel called to do this work. That story is important because I'm about to tell you how we get so much done and how we attract so many volunteers. Facebook advertising. It's really the secret to how you get volunteers. I hope you know that I'm lying. and the couple of you that I saw make the skeptical face, you get gold stars from me today. Because as I would tell my clients in advertising, I don't know one way to get 100 customers, but I know 100 ways to get one customer. And the same is true with volunteers. I don't know one way to get 100 volunteers, but I know 100 ways to get one volunteer. And when you really understand that statement, then you understand the real truth, the real secret sauce of how you do as much as we do and get as many volunteers as we do. Ready? You keep showing up. That's it. You do the work. You keep showing up. We've had so much good talk today about listening, being with people, meeting them where they are. That is the secret. Everybody wants a silver bullet that makes it something easier where we don't actually have to care. We do. We have to care. We have to show up. That is the way. That is the path. So this is what we do. Volunteers with us experience such fulfillment. They stay with us many times 5, 10, 15, 20 years. This picture here, it's my director of programs, and then a volunteer who's been with us for 24 years. The program she's in, you can't start with us until you're 55. So do a little math there. She's been with us 24 years, helping kids learn to read. Picture in the middle, volunteers of ours. We just had a volunteer luncheon, appreciation luncheon last Friday. We had 335 volunteers in one room in one time where we got to say thank you, where the community got to say thank you. This is what our volunteers look like. And the secret to getting more volunteers has to do with 95% of volunteers report increased fulfillment and improved maintained health from staying active and connected. That's the secret. It's what's in it for them. They feel great when they do it. People feel great when they are civically engaged. We just got to keep showing up and inviting them. And once they dip their toe in, then we'll have them because you feel good doing it. The other secret to how we do so much is collaboration. We don't do anything alone. We use all of these partners. Can you see all these logos? Good. All of these partners. As service sites, they give us client referrals, volunteer recruiting, they do training. We don't have to be the experts in everything because we bring them in. We do trainings, but we bring in experts from our partners. We give them lots of recognition. As I said 335 volunteers for a luncheon last Friday. We do group volunteer projects where they become social events where people love one another, they gather together, and it becomes a social event of connectedness. They keep showing up. And the other thing that collaboration allows you to do is grow, and grow fast. These are 4 programs that we have started this year. Our big local hospital in Tampa, Tampa General Hospital, came to us because they were seeing that a lot of their heart patients were readmitting to the emergency room when they didn't have support at home. So they knew about us. They knew that we did home companionship. So we created a special program where volunteers get training in the chronic conditions of the heart. Heart failure, there's several of them, congestive heart failure, and they are, for 12 weeks, they have this buddy when they leave the hospital that checks on them in person and on the phone to support them. And we're still in the pilot phase, but we're showing results already where they don't go back to the hospital as much because they're not anxious, they understand their instructions better, and they call for help because they have somebody who's there with them, lowering their stress level. Wraparound services. Many of you in the room, because we've had a few discussions, know about this. Seniors need comprehensive, coordinated care. Siloed care for elders is leading to tremendous, tremendous cost. So we need to get together. I have, in the Sun City area, I have 100 agencies and volunteers joining together to create what we're stealing a system from the children's program called High Fidelity Wraparound to do navigated, comprehensive care to help with the complex needs of elders, whether they be medical, mental health, spiritual, whatever's going on for an elder. Telepals. Our crisis line in Tampa, they used to have a telephone reassurance program that they lost funding and they had to drop. And so they talked to us. We figured out how to get it started. And from the best practices of our senior companion program, where we go out and visit in home, we're able to do that on the phone now. And a beautiful thing about that is that anyone who wants to serve, regardless of disability or transportation issues, from their own home, they could help do telephone reassurance to someone else who needs to be connected. And they both benefit. And finally, because we got so well known in Hillsborough and Pinellas for all of these services, we've expanded to Pasco County this year. So we're getting a lot done, and I can only thank the FCA for this excellence award in for what we're doing, because it's not us, it's really our volunteers. So thank you.